beeswax.
We just run your hand over that and make sure I'm smooth.
All right, so Jim, what's your last name?
Fernella.
Fernella, what do you do?
They call me Jim Fernella, the pool table fella. Been doing it for 35 years.
What do you know about pool tables?
I know a little bit about pool tables. I'm getting pretty quick at it. Any type of table, new, old, antiques. I refurbish antique pool tables. Move, cover, repair, any repair associated with a pool table, we do it.
Is there many other guys doing that around here?
There's a handful of guys.
Is there?
A couple of them actually know what they're doing. Most of them don't. But don't like to be critical of people. But if your pool table is not perfect, it's not much fun to play.
And so this is an easier job because the floor was level?
Well, we had to put some shims under it, but it's all about different techniques that we use to make sure that the table is perfect. With this table, the floor was relatively level, but we've had it where we've had to make up 4 inches on a side or an end.
So if somebody were going to go buy a table, what would you tell them not to do?
That's a tough one. You know, I used to say never buy an import, but the imports have actually improved. I like to buy domestic. Unfortunately, there's only about 4 manufacturers that are domestically manufacturing tables.
Right.
They've all shut down or moved overseas. But you need to look at the foundation of the table, the framework. That's the most important thing about a pool table. You need a good foundation to build off of.
Yep.
And as I told you earlier, the thickness of the slate is not as relevant as the foundation of the table. And again, domestic is always good, but you can't find many of them anymore. They're just
so what does it cost to move a table?
Well, you know, a table like this, the price goes from $350 to $425, depending on individual situation. And it's based on how easily the table goes back together, stairs that are involved, what kind of mood my moods that the associates are in. That's Labe over there. If he's in a good mood, it's a little bit less. If he's in a bad mood, you pay dearly. Now, it's about the specifics of the move and distance between. Antiques or more. Antiques they start at about $425, just because there's a lot more to an antique pool table than there is a newer, later model. We're the only people in the tri-state that moves one-piece slates. We don't like to move one-piece slates. We call them widow makers because it would be this piece of slate being one. So it's like moving a 400-pound piece of plywood, thus the widow maker.
Gotcha.
We've never broken a slate in our lives. We're fully insured. So I don't know what else to tell you except for keep in mind you get what you pay for. There are some people out there that move tables for less money.
But you got 30 years in this business.
Yeah, a little more than 30, but yeah, call it 30 years, 3 decades. So
awesome. All right, so it's are you on the web or anything? Or,
yeah, I've got a website. I do Facebook. I'm not real active in that area. I've been doing it this long.
Your phone number's there.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Actually 513-405-0068. And actually, I do a consulting thing. If somebody has a question, they're looking at a table on Craigslist, they can call me up. They can send me a picture. Let me see what they're looking at. I can give them assessment. Biggest problem on Craigslist, and I should have probably mentioned this earlier, if someone's buying a used product, you have to be aware. The biggest problem is petrified rubber. Many times, I've gone to move a table for a customer. They looked at it because it looked gorgeous, but then I get there and I find out that the rubber is petrified.
It's an old table.
No, late model tables, because they used, for a period of a decade, 12 years, they used a lot of clay. And they used a lot of thin synthetic material.
Yep.
Which created a problem, which made the rubber petrify, which makes it hard as a slate. Thus, you have to get it replaced. That's what you have to be aware of. Just because the table looks pretty does not mean that it's a good table. You have to check the rubber to make sure that it's not petrified and the rubber has resilience.
Awesome. All right, I got you covered.
Thank you.
You got it.